Hello y'all. Welcome to part 2 of my Georgia Stalin Path playthrough in the Hearts of Iron 4 mod Kaiserredux. In part 1 our country kind of had an economic disaster, but it's all good. Definitely. And now we're just currently doing whatever because I don't think we can even do anything at this time in the focus tree, since that's just something we're unable to have any access to, which is just fun. So now we're just waiting, really. We have all of our army watching the Ottomans, and they're watching us with 2 divisions, as well as whatever their puppet, Arvian has. It's basically puppet Armenia for the Ottomans, but they have a division there, so 3 divisions on the border there against us, and we have 6 divisions against them. This is a big deal. Pressure grows on Gagachkori to call new elections. Gagachkori is the leader of the country, so this is probably important. Pressure on Avunchi Gagachkori to call new elections has been increasing on all sides. Protests continue in Tiflis and across the country, and some industries are talking of strikes against the government, not just thinking. The opposing parties in the Constituent Assembly, led in opposition by Akhtom Takashvili, continue to call on the government to resign and for new elections. What is even more worrying, though, is the growth of resistance against Gagachkori by his own party. Multiple cabinet ministers are beginning to speak of how new elections might be best to try and preserve what's left of Georgian stability. Maybe elections aren't necessary, and from this we'll lose a little bit of political power, so oh well. That is that. Research slot available. What do we do here? Let's get mechanical computing. That will take 226 days. Sounds fine. Oh, this is an important event. Ioseb Jagashvili makes his move. This is basically our timelines. Joseph Stalin. After joining the SKP in 1921 and curbing a Bolshevik revolt, Ioseb Jagashvili proceeded to rise in the ranks of the Georgian government. In 1931, Jagashvili was appointed General Secretary of the Supreme Economic Council, allowing him to be very influential in the government, pushing for industrialization and creating an immense bureaucratic administration to control the country whilst promoting fierce Georgian nationalism. By 1936, the Supreme Economic Council, that de facto governs the Georgian government, is firmly under the control of Jagashvili, and he is in a position to effectively seize control of the government. The Mensheviks' control has collapsed, and a new era for Georgia is beginning. Georgian socialism shall shape this nation's future, and let's say Jagashvili will take full control of the government. That is that. So now we are the Georgian socialist state. Ioseb Jagashvili leaves the country, and here's the whole background for him. Ioseb Jagashvili, nicknamed Soso. Soso, as a child, was born to a peasant family in Georgia. His father was a shoemaker whose business had failed. Living in poverty and victim to the abuse of his father, Ioseb left home, naive to the world, unaware of the impact he would have on his nation. After many years of witnessing the crimes of the Russian Tsardom, a young Ioseb joined with local revolutionaries, making a name for himself. He proved to be a natural leader and fighter. When the Russian Civil War broke out, he led his comrades in battling enemy forces. Alongside Grigori, the 2 Georgians became infamous for their efficiency and also brutality. As the war progressed, Ioseb fled to Georgia, joining the coalition government and proving himself as an intelligent economic advisor. After launching a coup of his former comrade and declaring himself chairman of the nation, he now possesses the ability to reshape his country's destiny under the ideology of Georgian socialism. A staunch nationalist and socialist, his popular revolutionary ideals and power-hungry ambition has made him the unquestionable leader of a new Georgia, and his ideology is totalism of the Georgian socialist variety, and Georgian socialism is a term for a fiercely nationalistic, expansionist, anti-Russian ideology of Georgian under Chairman Ioseb Jagashvili and the Sokot Communist Party, Georgian Communist Party. Georgian socialism is an ideology unique to the Caucasus region and represents the people with its values of strength, self-sufficiency, and brotherhood. And Ioseb Jagashvili is historically a Georgian who is better known as Joseph Stalin, who led the Soviet Union, in our timeline, he led the Soviet Union from 1924 until his death in 1953. Initially, he governed the country as part of a collective leadership, but consolidated enough power to become a dictator by the 1930s. Of course, Joseph Stalin was the leader of the USSR during World War II. As well, he oversaw quite a few purges, and he did away a lot with his competition. And he also is behind the political concept of Stalinism. And now, I mean, what he's named after, well, that's named after him. So now, Georgian socialism. Oh my goodness. Georgian socialism. Let's complete this focus. Strength, hard work, and patriotic duty will define this nation. No longer restrained by the shackles of a fractured, backwards nation. That's what the focus here says. I'm just quoting it. Only the limits of comrade loyalty can stop Georgian socialism. And now once this focus is done, it will take 45 days. It will give us a national spirit that will provide us with more daily political power gain, a higher recruitable population factor, higher factory output, and on top of everything else, it will remove a national spirit called Supreme Economic Council, which was granting daily totalist support. We don't really need just support anymore since the totalists are effectively in charge. So what can we do? Build some land forts here in Georgia. Let me move my army around. I might have to split up my forces a little bit. I need to split up my divisions because I'm a little worried about my neighbors because they may want some land we currently control. Move these divisions here, move 2 divisions over here. That is that, so there they go, off they are. They're being sent off to go hold north of Tbilisi as well as near Sochi. I think so. That's okay. White Ruthenia falls to syndicalism. Interesting. The situation becomes worse. That's not good. After the government's decision to not to start importing food from abroad, even less food products are available and people are becoming more violent. We're criticized by almost every party because of our poor judgment. This is really bad. I need to probably deal with the food riots in some way. Yeah, that may be a good idea. Possibly. Yeah. I wonder if I accidentally may have caused another path to be... I'm accidentally going down the route of another different path from Georgia because of the actions I took over the food riots. Hopefully not. So Arthur Horner is elected chairman of the TUC. The first International Congress takes place. What do we do after we get done with Georgian socialism? I mean, we got a lot of issues to sort out because it's just like minority protests are causing us issues. Economic crisis, no doubt, that's a huge problem. Treaty of Putty, that's a problem. Food riots, that's also an issue. So I probably need to go ahead and do something with re-examine the Treaty of Putty and just try to get my industry sorted out for sure. So just get this focus first. Well, get this focus done first. Because Georgian socialism, the Third International, we can't make it. Oh, actually, no. Well, that's minus 20% base stability. Oh my goodness, I'll attend. I'm not going to bother reading the events though, because every country that attends the Third International just has the same events as far as I know. And what it amounts to, it's like a meeting of a bunch of different leftists and socialist leading countries. Well, just a bunch of socialist countries meeting together to talk about issues and such. So just rush through these events. Whatever gives us base stability here, do that. And that is done. Free military factory, build more rifles, please. Baratai Kami asked for support. Got it. Pius XII is asking for something. Farmers are lowering their prices. After the worsening of the food riots, our government reopened talks with the peasantry, this time more willing to make compromises. After many hours of debating between representatives of the SSDP and multiple farmers organizations, the two groups have reached an accord. In exchange for the various pro-agrarian measures, the farmers have accepted a lowering of the prices, thus resulting in a stabilization of the situation in the urban areas. Very well. So that's working itself out. Hopefully the food riot issue should be solved very soon. And let's re-examine the Treaty of Putty. That will take 21 days. And that is a treaty we signed with the Germans, I believe. Something about the White Terror, Third International event, the World Economic Crisis. Okay. Re-examine the Treaty of Putty. The Treaty of Putty is an agreement signed by the German and Georgian governments in 1918 to secure German protection and recognition of the new Georgian Republic. This came at a price, however, so the food situation is stabilizing good. Not going to bother reading that event. It will be good, though, probably. This came at a price, however, and Georgia was to allow Germany unfettered use of all Georgian railways and creating an oil pipeline from Azerbaijan. Perhaps it is time to reevaluate this treaty. Yes, we need to get this done, because we need to work out a new deal with the Germans. If there is to be a deal at all, we may just decide to go our own way. And that seems pretty likely. Let's do concentrated industry 1. Since, I mean, it's pretty likely we may distance ourselves more from Germany, since a totalist regime of Ioseb Jagashvili will not have much in a way to relate to the German Empire. So we examine the Treaty of Pote. The Treaty of Pote was signed with Germany when Georgia was under direct threat from most of its neighbors and wasn't internationally recognized. This is not how things stand anymore. Georgia has strong international recognition, and though tensions grow with its neighbors, some in the country argue that protection is not worth being stuck under the German fist. People specifically point to the fact the treaty gives Germany great control over Georgia infrastructure instead of a company that has great control over the Georgia mining industry. The chairman is not shy about his hatred for the German Reich, and since his takeover of Georgia from the weak Menshevik government and with Jagashvili in power, he has declared that Georgia shall be free from foreign bindings, not the last of which will be the Treaty of Pote. We will no longer need to kowtow to the Reich. Georgia will be free. That is that. So let's complete the Treaty of Pote is dead, and that will cause a number of things. So it says here, the Treaty of Pote was a shameful scar on Georgia and tied our nascent economy to the German robber barons, as they're called here, and just in this event due to the context of this relation the two countries had in this Hoi format about alternate history. While it may only improve our economic woes mightily, by tearing up the treaty and nationalizing the oil pipeline, we can send a clear message to our people and the Germans. So this will remove the Treaty of Pote, and we'll have some economic fallout problems for about 120 days, which is only like 4 months. So, I mean, it could be worse. As long as we just have that happen, though, we'll no longer have to worry about Germany controlling some of our industries so much. Hey, let me start recruiting one division here. I need more soldiers. I need more manpower, honestly. We need more soldiers. I need more men. I need more troops overall. I need to also think about expanding before that becomes more difficult. I just got to get all this done first, which is important because we need to at least set ourselves up to be somewhat prosperous in terms of our economy. And did Crimea establish itself? Yes, it did. There is an independent Crimea at south of Ukraine at this point, because something happened there. And Malta joined the Entente. Okay. That is going on in the Mediterranean. I will have to ultimately try to unite the North Caucasus countries all together as one. That would be easier said than done, though, because of just how many there are, and they could potentially join other factions. So let's now complete defending the motherland. Jugoslavashi's dream can only be achieved if the nation is prepared to defend itself. The non-Cubans and the Russians in the north and Ottomans in the south pose dangerous threats, whilst the Armenians and Azerbaijans hold enemy governments. Surrounded by enemies, we must be ready for anything, and preparations will be put in place. There's a restoration of the Kingdom of France will be put in place for the defense of the motherland, and this will give us 1,000 units of 1K units of Georgian rifles and 500 units of just Georgian infantry equipment, and we'll also get 3 land forts somewhere. And now, where's the Kingdom of France even at? I assume it's in North Africa. Is it? Let me see here. Yeah, so there's, I think that's the, is that the Bourbon? Oh, it's the Orleanist. That's who's in charge of the Kingdom of France at this point. So, very interesting situation there. Busan Treaty is a thing. Okay. Defending the motherland will be done soon. Hopefully, I gotta think about what to do now. Let me see this here. Army reform. Let's go with motorization. Get all that done. And aggressive doctrine. Are these just national spirit? That's so good. They're just going to give me national spirits that will last forever? Like, aggressive doctrine. It will grant us faster division speed and 10, but plus 10 division attack for that. Oh my goodness, motorization. That is just, wow. That's pretty useful for only like 25 or 50 political power. I don't remember the price, but still, that's pretty good. Crimea secures independence. Yes, the Black Sea just got a whole lot more interesting. So that's going to create, that's going to make things awkward for the Kingdom of Ukraine, without a doubt. And how is Belarus doing? They had Syndicalists take over there. They exist. Let's just say that they exist. And we are waiting for this focus here to get done. Defending the motherland will be done now. Good. Lovely. And let us complete expanding the motherland. And this says here, the best defense is a good offense. Therefore, the Georgian military must be ready to launch offensive wars in the name of defending the national interest of Georgia. Once this focus is done, the effects will be it is time to begin the formation of Transcaucasia, and this will make Kalmykia, the Don Republic, the Kuban People's Republic, Azerbaijan, and the Vilayet of Erdogan dislike us, and this will give us 5% base war support. And how is Armenia going to work? Okay. Interesting. So that's going to be very difficult to probably do because we got to fight so many countries, and somebody was elected governor of Bohemia because I think someone died. So now I'm just waiting for that to get done soon, hopefully. Only like 25 more days. It's only a 45-day long focus, and this division will be ready soon. Good. I need to work on my manpower issues, really, which, yeah, that's going to be something that's going to be a problem for us. To be fair, though, the Khanate of Kiev is now going to fight some of its neighbors. I don't believe much of our potential rivals in the Caucasus region will have much manpower themselves. Or maybe they will. I just got to be concerned about them possibly joining factions. If they pull that off, we will be in a very bad situation. If one of them joins the Reichspakt or the Ottoman faction, that could really complicate things, honestly. So expanding the motherland will be done in like 10 days. So just give it a little bit more time. Jabal al-Shamar now is going to find Nij over in the Arabian Peninsula. This is, I think, the Saudis versus the, I don't know, the Al-Aziz. That's who the two ruling dynasties of those two countries are, I think. Bukhara has now joined the Union of Kokon faction? Is that what that is? Maybe? Let me see here. Let me see. No, that's not right. Oh my goodness. Is it? Is it? I don't know. Expanding the motherland? Okay, it is, yeah. Expanding the motherland is done. And with that, I think I'm going to end what is part 2 of my Georgia Stalin path playthrough in the Hearts of Iron 4 mod Kaiserredux here. If you enjoyed the mod, you can check it out in the video description. A link to it is there. If you enjoyed the video itself, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe.